We're back on Global TV Talk Show. I'm in San Diego, and welcome Global TV Talk Show, business unit of globalbusinessnews.net. Well, we're approaching 675 broadcasts. It's crazy when you think about it, dating back to early 2020.
Wow.
And between now and Christmas coming up, which is 4 months away or so, 5 months, probably going to do another 100 shows, but not sure. I feel energized to be able to do that. And our special guest today is going to help me get there. And maybe he doesn't want to do it, but I'm going to make an incentive. Now, this is Ash. Ash is in Beverly Hills, California, 90210, and his organization is known as you can see there, 90210 Enterprise. 90210 is Beverly Hills. It's a separate city within the orbit of LA. It's on the west side. And very nearby is Century City. It's actually part of it, adjacent to it. And Century City was developed by some very wealthy guys living in the area there who didn't want to travel downtown LA. This was a long time ago, probably 50 years ago, 40 years ago, I guess. And so they found money and investors from around the world, and they started building high-rises, office buildings, state-of-the-art technology and looks in what's now called Century City. Ash, tell us more about what you're doing in the heart of Beverly Hills.
You know, I was looking for how can I live my legacy, right? Now they call me the legacy architect. And in order for me to do that, you cannot do that unless the people who had they had a hand in it to come with you. I've been known for relationships. My number one thing is I love people. I like to make relationships, not just contacts. And in my past 48 years, I've been so lucky to dabble in both of the what we call corporate paths. I was from 18 to 38 in what we call C-level corporate business employees. You had all the what we call solopreneur, and I had the pleasure of being an entrepreneur from when I was 38 to 48 now. And what is next for me? Because I had really good mentors, good partners. I have done many of my bucket lists and my vision and mission that I wanted to do in this world, whether it's personal, whether it's spiritual or family. And now I said, how can I still have a chance to live my legacy and also create I want to say a mecca or nirvana for people who are in business to do the same in business. And I came up with this organization called 90210 Enterprise. And now why? 90210, it's an affluent zip code. It's the #1 most affluent zip code in the world, right? And I thought when you have 90210, it's good. It's a good vibration. It's money, prosperity, and enterprise, as the name of it, projects. It's business. So we wanted to curate a private, exclusive, global business community, right? And that's why it took us 3.5 years with taking into account my various experience and my partners in both areas of what we call solopreneur corporate business and entrepreneurship equally. And we are really becoming one of the newest business conscious organization that we want to celebrate the best of the two. As you had me on your wonderful conference and I had the chance to talk about, there is not a wrong or right with any of these areas. It's just that they're different. And under 90210 Enterprise, when you bring the best of entrepreneurship, right, and the best of business, guess what? I say it creates a yin yang finally, and we can have that ecosystem that when people look at you, me, and some of our friends, and we do 4 or 5 things, they don't say you have ADD. That's the first thing that this solopreneur guy says. As soon as you do 3, 4, oh, you guys cannot focus, and that's not correct. So we will change that stigma and showcase to people that if you want to do one thing in life for business, for your work, that's okay. But you have to ask yourself a question, is it what you do, you corporate guy, your mission in life? Is it your legacy? Because it's not. You need to start thinking about becoming entrepreneur. You still can continue your one business and get into the mindset of us entrepreneur. And finally, because all these people, a lot of them do well, right? Because their focus is making money corporate, right? And there's not much spirituality or consciousness in it. And some of them are, but most of them in their stomach, they have a feeling of void. They have a feeling of, they have all the nice houses, they're all fulfilled, all those checks. But you know what? When it comes to themselves, lots of these CEOs, there's something missing. And thank you for bringing that out. Now, 9to1 Enterprise is going to be one of the spaces, communities that we will celebrate both people who have made it, people who have made a big change in themselves, in their community, both from corporate and entrepreneur. And what we're going to do is we bring them in here and we showcase them to you guys, for example, and help people not only to kind of dabble in both areas, but also going to start helping them, showing them what legacy means to them, and start, if not already, help them with various trainings and mindsets and teachings and programs to start living, living the legacy here, and also after they have passed. But we're going to talk to them now. And that's really the idea behind 9to1 Enterprise, especially when we get into what I do there under Advisory Legacy Council, which is the vertical that specifically focuses on this upcoming task.
Okay, so I'm going to back up a little bit here.
A lot of information.
Because there's a lot of words and a lot of happiness. I could feel the vibe. So I want to look at your, on your right shoulder, my left, there's a logo, but I can't read the words, they're too small. Would you enunciate what those words are underneath that logo?
Exactly. So that is the vertical that I'm going to be leaning under 9to1 Enterprise, and that vertical is called Advisory Legacy Council.
Okay, now let's back up. Advisory Legacy Council. Now, let's take those words for a sec, okay? And make sure that they're really, really clear. So the first one is advisory. So it's not that you have all the advice in the world, but you have access to people because of your networking. Networking is not a negative word. It's a resource. It's an asset. If it's used right, it's an asset. So advisory means, well, by listening to me and listening to what I'm trying to do with Global Press Club or some other thing, or listening to the person that you've met on in social engagement or something at 90210, that they don't need the money, they've got plenty, and yet they want to do something and make something worthwhile, and they have some time. So you can help bring people into connection with some other people, just like that, because, well, you're making connections for people. Now, legacy is just what you were talking about, and I'm just
Yeah,
reinterpreting. So if I'm making a mistake, stop me. But the legacy
I let you go
from you,
first, then I weigh in on it, on the whole thing.
yeah, okay. So legacy, from what you were just saying, means that you want to help people achieve a legacy now that certainly will go forward, but it's the idea of why wait? Let's figure out, well, how to maximize the benefits now. All right, and then the last one is counsel. Now that tends to mean legal advice, right?
Well, the reason and again, you really side well. The reason we have this vertical is it's actually going to be association, a group of people, very serious leaders like yourself, that let's just take you as example. I call you the king of advertising, PR, pitching, marketing. And again, people who know you, you have been doing this for 40 years or 50 years strong. And when we had the conversation, 1976, the first magazine, right? So let's take you an example. What I do is I have done my job, not just to create a network and connections. In some areas, I have spent hours and days to get to know people, and people like yourself that they just did not become expert or a master at what they do, right? They love what they do, the area so much, they have become that. They have become that expertise and master like yourself. And now, under advisory legacy council, why did we choose those words? First of all, we do not want to consult, coach people. We want to advise, because advice, it's a very inviting and a peaceful, it's like suggesting, versus when you coach somebody or when you consult somebody, it's a different kind of, it's not bad nor good, it's just what it is. So advisory, we want people who have made it and are living, quote unquote, their legacy, to come under this group circle and to talk about what has worked for them, that they are having such a success. In your case, when your friends or me or whoever we see you, Edwin Cohen, you're the epitome, you're the icon for PR, pitch, marketing, right? So that's what we personify. Now, the reason we make it a council, so it's a group of people. So it's going to be hundreds of people that I had the pleasure of knowing, whether as a partner or they were my mentor or I had the chance to work with them. And I saw that, what they do, what they teach, they don't only teach, they live it, right? And that's a difference. They live it. And of course, they're humble and they're nice and they like to give back. And not in any order, combination of these attributes, what makes me excited to invite them into this vertical, which is called Advisory Legacy Council. So they come together to be showcased, of course, as Diamond, and they should. We showcase them, not just another coach. I have a certain talent. I know how to present and showcase people, right? So I personally will showcase them as they deserve, right? At the same time, they will have a community, people who are clearly coming for their main legacy. So they come and they can teach that. Then people show up. Example, we have, let's say, Master Lee, we call him Lee Conway. When Lee Conway shows up, people know him. They know him for subconscious code breaker, right? But at the same time, when they come to some of our episodes, such as these, where there's one-on-one or it's going to be a conference, they're going to expect that these masters and experts and gurus, they're going to be talking about specifically from many challenges and many programs and many teachings, what specifically, simply, clearly had worked for them, right? For them to live their legacy. Sometimes living a legacy is getting married. Sometimes living a legacy is having a child. Sometimes living a legacy is writing a book. Sometimes living a legacy is having, to found the perfect business partner. So to people, legacy has different meanings, and it's sometimes physical, sometimes spiritual, sometimes something they want to acquire, certain knowledge, or maybe certain level of wisdom, maybe To some people, legacy is religion, spirituality, mysticism, Kabbalah. So to different people, that has a different way of understanding. And that's something that is immortal, that when they achieve it, they have achieved it. And the best thing is when they know, because you know, right? When you know, you know. How do you know? It's just, you know. Then you start living it, enjoying it. And also, the best thing is to teach that to others. And then when you're long gone, that's still the same legacy. So again, it's very general today, but thank you for, you know, thinking about these three words. And you know, is it special when we put these words together? Yeah. You know, we have Professor Dr. Anelli that, you know, was behind this. I have many people that are living a legacy to help me shape these three words: advisory, legacy, counsel. So in this area, we have a bunch of very serious, like yourself, leaders that are going to come together to teach what they are living as legacy to others. So either others can see how it is done, or they can find their own legacy. And then by emulating them, they also can live their legacy and teach. And then when they pass, they can also, the legacy can live on. Basically, you know, just give you a general understand. And this is new. This is like July 1st is when we actually established Advisory Legacy Council, and we are what, 6 days old.
So congratulations. Okay, so I want to just edit some things and clarify for, this is TV audience, so we need to be truthful.
Yeah, let's do specific.
And I'm going to give my contact details, and I'd like you to do that right now before we get into the weeds here. So my email is the following: publisher@globalbusiness.media. Publisher@globalbusiness.media. Now that'll get right to me, no interference. And the phone, and you could use WhatsApp or text or voice, is 619. That's in San Diego. 619-787-3100. That's how to get to me. Now, my claim to fame is not millions yet, but I'm still hopeful. But what I do have as a result of difficulty, it's not all peaks, folks. There's a lot of valleys. This is a peak for me at this period of time. So I'm comfortable doing this. And what I'm doing is using the knowledge and the learning of building globaltvtalkshow.com from nothing as a result of the COVID pandemic crashing my 30 years of producing live conferences, big and small, in Europe, Latin America, US, Canada. Crash, zip, no more money. And then what? Okay, well, I had a lot of contacts. And so what is the easiest way to bring people together? Well, it's Zoom. And yet a lot of people are afraid of the camera. So I happen to have experience from years ago in front of a camera. And so it wasn't that hard. But even now, I just have to remember to look at this green dot and not at my good looking friend right here. So if you see my eyes shifting around, you know what I'm doing. But people are not, by natural, a camera ready guy, okay, or gal. So to be better camera ready, in other words, media prepped, you need practice and you need coaching. I've been fortunate to be able to produce 670 something programs using Zoom through globaltvtalkshow.com and parent globalbusinessnews.net. And all of that's in the cloud, linking to my YouTube channel and LinkedIn and many other outlets. So we've amassed an audience of, according to Google Analytics, of over 250,000 cumulatively in over 100 countries. But frankly, 65, 70% is US, Canada, about 20% Europe, and most of that is London, although we're strong in Paris and Germany and Geneva. Less than that in Asia Pacific, say about 15%, but the strongest is Hong Kong. Singapore is fast growing, probably because people are leaving Hong Kong for Singapore, but also Beijing and Shanghai. South Korea, Taipei is strong, small but strong. Manila is strong also. And the rest is spread around. So why are people watching this thing? And it's because they want to network with people that they either couldn't because of COVID or didn't want to spend money to travel, or they didn't want to leave their comfort position of sitting here in front of the camera. But you have to learn how to do it right, or else it'll backfire on you. And so the legacy that I've learned and what I'm doing now is actually helping me do more. It's not like I'm living on a past reward. I'm doing it right now. And this is enabling me to think young, of course, and be young and help people do better in front of the camera. So the media that I own and operate as a result of building up Global TV Talk Show and globalbusinessnews.net has enabled me to reach audiences, mostly business to business and around the world, and bring people together. I call it networking, of course, connecting through business introductions. And the methodology of doing that has worked so far is my talk show. So I've learned how to be a happy TV talk show host. And that means having not a script, because these are not scripted. However, every program is organized and structured that brings together leaders and people who are also leaders, but they're not the front line. They're leaders, thought leaders, and they're faculty on the program, sharing their own ideas and their experiences. In fact, I ask all of my guests now to talk to the audience about how your product, your brand, how you have actually helped a customer achieve something that they weren't able to do as well as when you've helped them just now. Talk to the audience. Tell my audience about you, your brand. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to share my audience. I want you to build a new audience from my audience, and together we'll grow.
Oh, wow.
I call that co-marketing, not co-in marketing, but co-marketing, like cooperate or co-pay or collaborate. It's called co-marketing.
Oh.
And so the name of my group for 45 years is Co-Marketing Partners. And I coined that without really knowing what I was doing, what the extent of it would be. But here it is today, and it's called co-marketing. In other words, I'm sharing my audience. In fact, you know where I got the idea to solidify that idea was a couple of years ago when this company called Rent the Runway came out and did well quickly. And what it was, it's some New York garment manufacturers got together. So, you know, you have the New York show, you have the Paris show, Milan fashion shows, glamorous, and the models come out in these beautiful apparels, and then it's gone, poof. So these guys and gals came up with the idea of making those designs available for rent so that everybody around the world, almost everybody, could afford it. Anyone who's working can certainly afford to rent that dress, rent that suit, rent that whatever. So Rent the Runway. So I came up with the idea of renting my audience. Why not? I'm looking for new audience. I want more than 250,000 audience views. I want 1 million, but I can't get there myself. And so I'm opening up my programs, my global TV talk shows, to one-on-ones on pre-agreed topics for about 20 minutes. So there's no risk and at a very low price. So
Wow.
money's not an object. And I thought of charging $1,000 a show, but no one will pay that. So yeah, it's much lower, and we'll talk about it privately. I have plans. I've got paid plans available, but we don't have to talk about that right now. It's just the idea.
Well, let me weigh on this. You see, you said from you had a very successful corporate background with millions of people on magazine and PR. That's what happened. With COVID, it wasn't a challenge. What you did, you could have just, like many people, say, you know what, I did this for so many years and call it quits. You know what you did? You turn it into legacy. How did you do that?
Upside down.
You said, now I'm going to take my expertise, my innate abilities, and I'm going to give media time to everyone, not just people who are very good on camera, right? Because back then you used to work with, a magazine and stuff, and they naturally they were.
I've been in PR and advertising forever.
Yeah, I 1976. I said 40. Wow, 45. I don't want to say 40. Let's say 40 years. Now, let me explain what I saw. Now, you have said, I have done that successfully. What I want to do is now I want to give opportunity to everyone, and whether it's one-on-one, right? And you kind of like you send the emails that is very clear how they show up, the topic you're going to talk to. So now you're doing it quality instead of quantity. One person at a time, and then maybe group of 10, 12s in your circle, right?
Right. In fact, the show that you were on the group show, yeah. I think we had 15 speakers, and that's a little crazy, but everybody got along, and everybody had time.
No. It was you.
And we did it in about 100 minutes.
You were the conductor. That's why it worked, okay? Because people were different. Everyone was different. Yeah, exactly. You brought a sense of alchemy, and you created an ecosystem. So let me tell you what I see objectively, right?
I didn't know I was doing that.
Now, no, that's my job. That's my job to see. Because remember, I see objectively. Okay, I see objectively over expert masters and gurus also. And what I like is exactly what you're doing, what you are giving a voice, giving an opportunity to people who did not have the professional background to be in a show, and you are giving chance to everyone. Now, let me tell you what else you're doing that I like, aside from that. So it's not a challenge. You have really stepped into your greatness, and now you have created a space that people that have a story, people who are a little bit introvert, shy, they come out, whether one-on-one or what I call in your conference, they have a chance to collaborate, learn, and go next level.
Moreover, right, and then, wait 1 second. And I invite people to consider to bring one person who they think might like this format, and introduce me, and I'll send them information, and they can decide what to do. And so now this has happened. This is accelerating. This has always happened. There's always been somebody who brings a guest, but now this is accelerating, not from what I'm doing, but the people who have become, and they weren't at first, and they've become more comfortable in front of the camera. They've become more comfortable in our kind of loosey-goosey format. It's done this way to be spontaneous because the camera doesn't lie, and you can't hide from the camera. It watches, it sees. And if I'm not camera ready, and if you're seeing a reflection in my glasses, then I better take them off. But then I can't see you clearly, so I'm trying to look and not be reflective. And I help people understand that's what they have to do also. If they have a noisy background, Like you see this thing as a red wall. And rather than just the wall, I stack up some books from my bookcase, which is over there, and I put my favorite elephant, not an elephant, it's a giraffe, but it's a caricature of a giraffe on top of the stack of books. Because some people, you look at their backgrounds and it may be fake, maybe real, I don't know, but it's these libraries of books. I've read every one of those books right there. And anyway, I'm talking too much.
No. I wanted to, because I see what you're doing. And let me explain another thing you said was it. See, today's like a conversation, right? That we are having together. Another thing that I'm telling you, you just said co-op. It's really with the information age and the .com era, and especially now with all the outlets that you mentioned, and LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, it's really the time is the era of collaborating. There's no more secret. There is no more knowledge. The more you actually allow people in your circle, in your closest clients, the more you will bask, right? How? When I was at your conference, you had example, Mr. Paul Falcone.
Right.
Right. And let me explain. You bring all different genres of quality people, even ones that, like, he's a 17-time bestseller author, right? So what happens when you bring people from that legendary status too? What happens is they love to be part of your show. And he was so happy, and I met him there, and I met him in another setting too. We know each other. But when he was there, he was so happy. And when they're happy, they're themselves, right? And you let them be themselves. What happens? Now, his audience will be watching, your media. And you have created a kind of a yin-yang. So it's like a breath. One goes, one comes back, right? A wave is coming and returning. And the way you have orchestrated this is a legacy for you, right? So now you're living a legacy, you're giving back. One person, whether they are Oscar winner or maybe they just needed a voice to tell their story. You're giving chance to everyone, and automatically, organically, naturally, magically, it's happening, right? And I introduced Dr. Forrest, introduced you to me. I couldn't make that day. We have what I call the Lady of Light. And we had Annalisa Landa joining. And, she was introduced to me by Mr. Lee Conway. And now, because she's so happy, look, whatever you did to her, she's back then. I mean, this is 4 or 5 months ago when she was on your first show. She texted me, Ashkan, thank you to me and Dr. Forrest. Now, she's from England, right? And she's from Europe. So her circle, which is, Mr. Lee Conway and a bunch of other people are already asking questions. Who is Edwin? The global conference, what is that all about? So they all are lining up to collaborate, co-op with you. So usually you do the ending, but today I want to do it for you, right? You always bring every one person and every group, and I saw how you handled our conference, right? Today, I want to tell you, and this is what I'm good at. I see beyond. I see beyond a person. I see everything they have done. I see all their innate abilities. I see their skills. I see all their challenges. And then in front of me, and I had a chance, by the way, it's not like I'm like a, I have a special, I do have a sixth sense and a better intuition than others. That's a story for another day. But I spent time. I was interested in you. So me and you had a chat on Friday, and we had able to discuss personally about our upbringings, our parents, and you were able to share with me. Now that I see all those layers, all those pieces that put you together, I could tell you straight that what you are doing right now, you don't need to worry about having millions anymore. Millions you had. Maybe you have millions again. Maybe you have 100 million. Doesn't matter, but that's not the focus. The focus is, instead of with COVID, you giving up, you didn't give up. you took that challenge, a lot of people gave up, and you turned it into a blessing that now is these one-on-ones that you said 600 something, and plus those conferences that I was, and both of them, whether it's a one-on-one or it's a mix of, I call it round table. Let's call it round table. And I think you are not creating something new, but what you're doing is now you're giving back to people who want to share their story, what they do, what's important, causes to their heart, and they want an authentic, new space, and you provide that. You provide a thing. When I was there, everyone, I could tell you all their names, all 11 of them. Mr. Kulo, each person that I met was there it was heartfelt, and they did not have an agenda. They wanted to be there because they like you. They love being there. There was a gentleman that was recruiting for CEO space, CEO, I forgot his name.
Gary.
I actually offered him a top CEO that they're going to be, so you see how, as I was there, also there's business coming around it. But I'm telling you, you should go and say, you know what, Ashkan said, wow, I don't need to do anything anymore. I just show up when Edwin Cohen, Mr. Edwin Cohen shows up. Now he's living his legacy. And everything else, it's happening. There is no more creation. There's no more promotion. And I promise you, with this model that you're doing, the one-on-one and the round table, these two, and everything else that you have around it, it's not even a, I'm not in your business of scaling media, but I'm here to tell you, at least in my end, and our relationship started like a week or 2 weeks. I have about 100 people that want to be on, they want to be part of the round table, and at least from my side. So I just want to thank you for showcasing me today, letting me talk about my new vertical, 6 days Advisory Legacy Council, and generally, not specifically, what's the vision, mission in a conversation setting, and also sharing about the what we call the community, the company, 90210 Enterprise. We do have, not for today, we do have 12 verticals, and every vertical is led by a master, by a partner that knows what they're doing, right? And when you put it together, it becomes this business conscious private community that people can just do more, learn more, teach, make money, and we just want to be a business conscious community. And there's nothing wrong with a global community to do many things. I had the privilege of doing that with some partners, myself, and now it's really business conscious, like how you said, co-op, collaborate, right? Not me, how we can make money together, how I can help you, right? This and I'm attracting, no wonder I have attracted you. I have attracted all the people around you, Mr. Lee Tonway that wants to collab with you and all of his circle. And then I have more from there. When it came, I have Mark, Jared, that want to introduce to you. That's another amazing gentleman in England that has brought me a couple hundred relationships. And and there's a joy with that. There's a joy, and there's always a win, right? Sometimes somebody introduces somebody, they make $1 million. Oh my God, I didn't get my referral fee. It's not about that. Some is business, some are clients. But when you do it the way you do it, it's impossible for everything not to happen the way it should. When there's no push, and I tell you, like honestly, you brought these words to my. You were asking me in the beginning of the show, can you tell us one example of what does that mean? What you do? And you are a perfect example of what you have done, whether it was challenge or whether it was something you needed to do. And today you have taken that innate, again, I say innate abilities and skills that you have acquired and the challenges. And you put it all together. And today we are looking at you, right? And your organization and the services that it's really a legacy work. I couldn't even showcase it better than this example. There you go.
Yeah, well, I thank you for all that. Now, let's just, in the 5 minutes we have remaining for this initial broadcast, And I want to invite you, when we get off, I'm going to send you some info about some upcoming programs. And if you find value in those that I'm going to show you about, one is tomorrow morning. Might be too late for you, but take a look. And I invite you and to join what I'm doing. You're an inspiration to me because it's obvious that you're not originally from the U.S. Why don't you tell my audience about, if you can do a minute here,
Sure.
about, I read that your family is from Iran.
Yeah, I'm from Iran, Persia, and I was born there happily, and we're a Jewish family. My father was a mystic. He was born blind, but he actually saw more than other people, and he actually trained me with my eyes closed in many arts and meditation. That's why I have such a strong intuition and sixth sense. My mom was a wonderful homemaker. My father was the epitome of mind, and my mom was the epitome of heart. So I had both. Very lucky. Both of them were my main mentors, right? And then amazing sister I have. I came here when I was 12 years old. I went to, and we were refugee. So the American dream is correct. I went to Museum of Tolerance, Simon Wiesenthal Center. From there, I went to 2 years of college, and then I started my business, which I talked about, with 20 years of 7 Elephants, which was actually a bottom line, strong corporate C-level. And then I did Higher Connection, which was really the epitome of entrepreneurship. And now I'm married, of course, thank God, with 4 children, living here, in Century City. My office in Beverly Hills, and I'm really, really looking forward to showcase my legacy, through Advisory Legacy Council with some of the people who had tremendous impact on me, whether as a partner, mentor, somebody I worked with, and through 90210 Enterprise business community. And we're going to be sharing not secrets, things that have worked, things that have taught me how to use my innate abilities in a good way, things that allows me to showcase my skills that I've acquired, whether it was through teaching, mentorship, or challenge. And then with that, start living my legacy and also show other people how to live theirs. And then together, when you focus one person at a time, one what we call roundtable, one city, one community, and we don't need to worry about sometimes globalization. Now it's time that you need to really focus on yourself and your person next to you, and this is a better way of creating impact, because when you create such an impact on a person, that person becomes a vessel, becomes a light, and they go out and do the same thing to another person, and before you know it, everybody's doing it, and it's not a new thing. As you know, there's no more borders. Now with the coming of all these new innovations, whether it's Uber, there's no car. It's Airbnb, there's no house, there's no buildings, and with all it's globalization, it's becoming one. Everybody's becoming one. There's no more borders, and as you're doing it, as we understand that, there's no more competition, there's no more lag. There's enough, right? And if people really to have the faith and the trust to let go and try it, the reward is immense, and then they will have a chance to reciprocate, and also to attract people like you and a community that you have.
I thank you for all that, and I want to make it easy. How can people reach you?
Yeah,
the easiest way.
Yeah, Ashkan Tebibnia. I'm on LinkedIn. Ashkan Tebibnia, and my email is 90210enterprise@gmail.com. I'm very good on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn because it's a business platform, and I'd be happy to, just please mention you are from, Edwin Cohen and his organization, because we do care. We always like to acknowledge, right? And then, I thank you very much for today's conference, and I'm very happy to be here again, bring my close circles, my roundtables, my community, just bring them in by by tens and singles and things. I told Dr. I want to give a big thanks to our chief host with Advisory Legacy Council, Dr. Natalie Forrest. She's a chief host, and it wasn't because of her. She decided to introduce you to me, and not just another Kane Ashkan. And the way eloquently she described about you, right? Edification. So that's by itself is like the art of introduction, and it goes to her. And we actually finished with her. Thank you, Dr. Natalie, for this relationship.
Thank you, Ash, for being on Global TV Talk Show. Dr. Natalie Forrest is one of my key speakers tomorrow morning, July 11. The show starts at 7 a.m. in LA, and we have speakers from several countries. And I invite you to join us. I'm going to send you the program.
Thank you. I'd be very happy to follow up with you. God bless you. And remember, you don't need to worry about millions anymore. You have done it. Now, the millions, they need to worry about how to get to you and your people. All right?
Amen.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.